Shalom. Okay, shalom, shalom. This is Israel Wake Up. It's our evening Sabbath class for the 31st October 2020. And what we're doing is we're going to do a moment of silence in regards to our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, and all that he's doing in these last days to bring about our deliverance from the land of our oppressors. And then we're going to do a Sabbath prayer, evening Sabbath prayer. Then we're going to go into, if anybody have any current events, then we're going to go into part 2 of this uncomfortable conversation with non-Messianic Hebrew Israelite in regards to the giants. So, with that being said, we're going to do a moment of silence and then do the prayer. Oh Lord, we come before thee at the closing of your Sabbath day, thanking you for your mercy and great power. We appreciate you, O Lord, for your patience and your guidance in these last days. O Lord, we thank you for awakening us to this great understanding of your word. We come before you, keep, direct, and guide us through the upcoming week. O Lord, for there are trials, pestilences, and mayhem at every turn. O Lord, we see your mighty hand in the world's affairs and how you are destructing your people's deliverance. And we trust and rely upon thee. For this cause, we honor and respect you greatly. Turn not thy face from us, but allow us in our searching of you to find you, O Lord, and dwell with you. Peace be unto you forever and ever. Okay, with that being said, anybody got any comments, current events? Anything from this morning? Or okay, no current events. Okay, well, so what I'm doing is, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, but I'm dealing with the fact that in Genesis chapter 14, I was showing you how that it was giants all over. When you go to Genesis chapter 10 in the table of nations, and you go to Ham, and I was showing you how that Mesrine was a giant. Then he had all kind of giants after him from Genesis 10 verse 11 all the way down to 19. So it's that so-called Africa and the Middle East or Northeast Africa, the so-called land of Canaan, it was awash with that whole area with giants, all kind of giants, and this is after the flood. So you can imagine what it was like before the flood, before the waters came and drowned them. But this is after the flood, when they they multiplied again on that whole area. And when you do your research, you know that they was all over in America. There was giants all over in America. Redhead giants all over here. So what's going on in Genesis chapter 14 is called the Vale of Siddim, and what it is, it was a war between all these giants. Like I had showed you in Genesis chapter 2, how it lists all these different races of giants all through there. Let me get it right there. So yeah, so it says in Deuteronomy chapter 2. No bad. Deuteronomy chapter 2 says, so these Israelites, when they coming out of, they've been delivered by the Lord of hosts from Egypt, and they come across across the wilderness, and they come in contact with these different races of giants. And one of them is going to become more and more evident as more we read this. So it says in chapter verse 10 says, the Elam, is Deuteronomy 2 and verse 10, the Elam dwelt therein in times past, a people great, many, and tall as an Anakim, right? Then you go down to 12, a Horum also dwelt. I told you about that, how when you see that I am on the end of a name, just like with Mazarine, that's how I know he was a giant, you know. And the spirit that comes from those giants, first of all, I told you they're homosexuals because of they mixed the angelic blood with the angelic DNA with human DNA. That's the number one result you get. That's the origins of homosexuality. So then you got the height, all that. So 12 says Horam also dwelt in Mount Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them. So these Horams was on Mount Seir. Notice they all dealing with a mountain. They got a mountain because they forefather came down on the mountain, and then from that mountain came down and started dealing with the women, and started messing with and started getting giants, children. And so you go on to verse 20 says they also this dealing with Ammon, the children of Ammon. They also was accounted for the land accounted a land of giants. Giants dwelt therein in the old times, and the Ammonites called them Zezazum. And then you keep going on down to 23, and the Avim, which dwelt in Hazarim. They go this, and the Carpenter. All these are giant races. So, like I said, I'm showing you that for a reason because it's going to become more evident later on as we keep going. So we see there's giants all over the place. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna read chapter 14. Set a light on it. Okay. In Genesis chapter 14. It says chapter 14, and it came to pass in those days, the days of Amathal, king of Shinar, Eric, I'm gonna butcher these names, Eric, king of Elazar, Chadamanda, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemember, king of Zebulun, and king of Bela, which is Zor. All these were joined together in the Vale of Siddim, which is in the Salt Sea. So let me show you that right quick as we go. So this right here, notice that right here on this map. Let me get, oh, my bad. Let me bring the map up. Moving too fast. Okay. Let me get it back. Okay. See right here behind me? Notice this the same lane, land of Canaan. All this land of Canaan. And they go to Vale right here. This area right here. So like I said before times, all this area right here was giants all over here. And if you go on over here, this area over here, this going toward Egypt. So all this area, Northeast Africa, in Africa, the giants all over the place. And so you can see that. So let me get back to what I was reading. So yeah, so it says said, each joined together in the Vale of Siddim, which is in the South Sea. 12 years they served uh, Chadamanda, and in the 13th year they rebelled, and in the 14th year came Chadamanda and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaim in Ashraf, Karim. See all these IMs? Now I want to show you something that's profound. It says the Rephaim, this in verse 5 of chapter 14 of Genesis. Smote the Rephaim in Ashraf, Karim, that's the race of giants, and the Zezum in Ham. And I showed you that his Ham was awash with giants. That's in Africa. So it says the Zezum of Ham. That's a particular race of giants out of Ham. So it let you know that Ham was infiltrated by these fallen angels, and Ham is in Africa. So that lets you know that what Genesis chapter 6 happened there. So it says, and the Enum, we just mentioned them in Genesis Deuteronomy chapter 2. The Enum in Sheva Karakum. So what I want you to understand about that word right there I just said, I'm beating it up, but that's the place that's what Jerusalem was. This is the name of Jerusalem, which is a race of giants was there before David and them came there. And that's when I was showing you how David went up on the wall. They built these big old megalithic buildings because they were giants. And they didn't think David can get in there. But David and them got in there, and they smart all of them. And like I said, he killed the lame and the blind because of all this. Those are characteristics of these giants. That's where it came from. Most of them don't make no misfits. You know what I'm saying? He don't do that. It's something going on. Like I told you about the lame. He don't. Everything he did, it was good when he made it. Something had, something had to impose itself on anything you're dealing with on earth. If it ain't good now, something had to happen to it. Something had to be imposed on it. So this place right here in verse 5 was the name, which is the name of a giant before when David and them got there, and then David and them changed it to Jerusalem. So yeah, so this king right here in chapter 4, it says 12 years they served Chadamanda, right? Let me go back and show you this right quick. Make this plain, because it's important. So okay. So back to this map. See right here? This highway right here. You know, you done heard it, probably heard it in passing or whatever. But there go this dude up here, Chadamanda. He the king. These all these other kings right here, they paying tribute to him. This is his highway. That's why it's called the King's Highway. This is his highway. All down through there, these giants. So what you're looking at is this before Rome. So they talking about all roads lead to Rome, where these giants, can you imagine it? It ain't take them, if they can build a pyramid, you can imagine how long, it ain't take them no time to build this. It's a highway. And this was in Deuteronomy chapter 2, when the Amalekites came out against Israel. They said, we're gonna take the King's Highway. We ain't trying to, Most High, the Lord of Hosts already told us, we ain't trying to interfere with y'all. We're gonna take this King's Highway, and bypass y'all, because y'all ain't right. But they came out against him anyway. And this is what they also, when he told them not to meddle with the Edomites, for the land that they had, which they got from the Horites, the giants that was from Mount Seir. They did it with this highway. This was a way to get around. These giants had built this highway all down through here. And the king, the one Chadamaster, whatever his name, he would come, he'd take that right there. He would come through here checking all his traps, getting his tribute money from all these different places. He just come down to this King's Highway. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. So anyway, with that being said, we go back to where I was at. Okay. So it says, in verse 6, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness, and they returned and came to Enapap, which is by Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelled in Hazram Tamar. And they went out, the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zebulun, and the king of Bela, the same as Zor, and they joined battle with them in the Vale of Siddim, with Chadamath, the king of Edom, and with Tidal, king of the nations, and Amathal, king of Shinar, and Eric, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. And so what's happening is it was the king Chadamath, which was the one that he's the king of kings, is he got five kings with him and 4 with them. So it says, and in the Vale of Siddim was full of salt pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled there, and they that remained fled to the mountains, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victual, and went their way, and they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. So this is what brought Abraham in the picture. And so we know these 14 verses 1 through 12 is overlooked, but by the whole so-called biblical world. They ain't nobody focusing on this. So anyway, this was a battle with kings, with giants. So you say that ain't no giants, but you go right here. So what? All the giants, they already violent. So anyway, I want to shout out on a few things. So if you notice in chapter 14, verse 1, it says, it came to pass in those days that Amathal, king of Shinar. So who is that? So you come to find out that's Nimrod. So when you go back to over here to verse 11, I'm told this Bible up too. Get another. So I'm in chapter 10. Let me see. Chapter 11. So it says, chapter 11, verse 1, and the whole earth was one language and one speech. And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. See that? Land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, let us go and make bricks. So this was Nimrod. Then you get down to verse, Nimrod was the author behind all this. Then you get to verse 7. Go to, let us go down. These are 7 angels. And they confound their languages, and that they may not understand one another. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the whole earth, and they left off from building the city. Therefore the name called Babel, because the Lord there confounded the languages of the whole earth, and from this did the Lord scatter them abroad from the face of the earth. So Nimrod wasn't killed right there. Nimrod, this Nimrod right here, he came back. He made a comeback. And when he make his comeback, he's dealing with Abraham. Abraham come on the scene. But this him right here, this Nimrod, the king of Shinar. But his name been changed. So it says, let me read some more on that. So it says, this is an article. It says hidden in God. So I started thinking about how names were changed when people came into covenant or relationship with God. We see it first with Abraham becoming Abraham, and Sarah becoming Sarai becoming Sarah. During the same time frame, there was a guy named Nimrod. Scripture says he became remember what the scriptures say too, he became a mighty man. So anyway, it says a Gorgon, or a mighty hunter before the Lord. Another name for Nimrod was Amathal. I'm saying the name right, from the land of Shinar. These are 2 Jewish legends of how Nimrod died. One is that Shem, Noah's son, killed him, and another is Esau beheaded him. That's in Jasher. And then took the skins, which originally belonged to Abraham. See, now that makes sense. It says that Esau killed him, Okay, Cush first Ham had the garments that Michael gave to Adam and Eve, and he had them. He gave them to Cush. Cush gave him to Nimrod. Nimrod killed Esau killed Nimrod and got those garments. So anyway, it says, my question is this: did Nimrod's name change like Abraham's when he was made a covenant with Satan? Some say Nimrod rebelled, seducer of the leopard, or just like the title like Baal. But was it? Amethal means darkness. A not a type play on the word Amaral, which statement and darkness. Some scholars believe by means it means caused to fall. When he became mighty, did this mean this man's name changed to another thought? Thought is this: we know that the significance of Shem killed him. That's a given. But what does it mean if Esau actually killed him? Remember, it was after this event that Esau gave up his birthright to Jacob, whose name later changed to Israel. But Esau just gave up everything because he was hungry, or was there more to it? Obtaining this skin from Nimrod did somehow change too. Now, if Esau beheaded Nimrod, how did Esau die? The book of Joshua says Esau prevented Jacob's burial when he died. This caused a war with the two brothers' families, and this is how Esau died. It was at this time that Dan's son, a man who could not speak or hear, walked up to Esau and severed his head from his body. So that's just something you want to research it on. Okay. And then I got another one down here. It says Amethal is identical with Nimrod. Some say Amethal was his real name, and he was called Nimrod, the chief rebel. So Nimrod is a title, which means chief rebel, as a leader of the two tower builders, who led the world into rebellion against the heavenly rulers. So Nimrod led the world against 7 angels. That's why it says in Genesis chapter 11 that let us go down and confound their languages. We know right there that was 7 angels. So if you know that was the 7 angels, we know Genesis 1:26 is 7 angels when they said, "Let us make man." So that's how you connect dots. So let me get another one. Others say Nimrod was his real name, and he was called Amethal as one who commanded them as the one who commanded Abraham to be cast into the fire. Also, it means the one who commands and the ones who commands and brings darkness on the world, or the one who provokes and made sport of the world. So when the Most High came and those 7 angels came down and disassembled the Tower of Babel and all that, his name changed because he changed his name according to the event that happened to him when at the Tower of Babel. Okay, so we'll keep on reading. It says, verse 13 says, and there came one that had escaped and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plains of Mamre. Now I'm going to shine a light on that word right there too, because we dealt with it before. Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Esau, brother of Anar. These are the confederate with Abraham. So these giants, and they confederate with Abraham. And what you have to understand is that Anar is the father of those giants that the spies saw when they came to spy the land out. Okay, 14 says, and when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan, these giants. Okay, and it says, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also and the people. Okay, let me get you. Okay. Okay, it says women also the people. Then now, we're just gonna go all the way in to. I'm gonna read the last 6 verses. This is dealing with Melchizedek. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Cabar, and the kings that were with him at the valley of Shiva, which is in the king's dale. So I just showed you that that word right here, S-H-A in verse 17, S-H-A-V-E-N. You go back over here to chapter 14, verse 5. That's the name of the giant of the land where David changed it to Jerusalem. But this was the name right here at first. So you say, why are you telling me that? Well, Melchizedek, look what's going on. It says, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedar or whatever, and the king that was with him at the valley of Shavon, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Shalom, brought forth. See? So that's Shem. And Shem living in this area. And so now, that's why it was later called Jerusalem. Because of Shem that's the area where Shem dwelled at. And it means, Melchizedek means king of peace, which is Shalom. So anyway, so it says, and Melchizedek, king of Sodom, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, blessed be Abraham. Check this out. He says, bless him and said, blessed be Abraham, the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And he blessed the Most High God, which had delivered them, thine enemies, into thy hands. And he gave him tithes of all. So that's big. I'm going to show you why it's big. Because you go to chapter 14, verse 1. It came to pass in the days of Armathal, king of Shinar. We know that's Nimrod. Arad, king of Elis, and Shinar, king of man. He came down, and then it said that verse 2, that these made war with king of Sodom and with Berak, king of Gomorrah, Satnar, king of Adar, and Zebul, king of Zebulun, and the king of Bela, which is all these were joined together in the Vale of Siddim, which is the South Sea. So it said 12 years they served Kedar, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Kedar and the kings that were with him and smote. See that? So this guy that I told you, the king of kings, smote these other ones, these other 4 kings, and when he smote them, he took all their possessions, and he took all the lot possessions with him. But look what happened. In verse 13, and there came one that had escaped and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plains of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, and these were confederate. They were confederate with Abraham. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he owned trained servants, born in his house, 318. All he got is 318 men. So we know they giants. So anyway, and they pursued them, and he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them. So this dude went in and knocked off all these other giants, and Abraham come with 318 men and knocked him off. And then your answer come in 20. When Shem came. Shem came and told him, and he blessed, says, and blessed be the Most High God, which have delivered thy enemies into thy hands, and he gave him tithes of all. So what's that telling us? Michael, these 7 angels came in amongst them, and that's how Abraham defeated them. And Shem letting them know that it ain't there. You can't see it. It's been covered over, but when you got the proper understanding, it's dead in your face. That's why I go in depth when I'm talking on here to show you all this stuff that's ain't being revealed. So we see these 7 angels showed up. Ain't no way in hell Abraham beat him with all these giants. So let's look at what they call it. All this stuff been hidden outside of the Bible. I got this book right here. It's the book of Og, Enoch, and the Giants, and he's talking about the same war right here. It says, no, this ain't it. Right here. So it says right here, the 100. Tell you how many it was. The 100,000 giant war. So Abraham had 300 giants with him, and he knocked them out. So they let you know them 7 angels was there, but it ain't in the book. But I'm sure you they was there. We know they was there based on what Melchizedek told me. So let's look at that. So now you see that these was giants with Abraham, and it says that, and when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants born in his house. See that? So these giants born in Abraham's house. So what you talking about? Let's look at it. I mean, chapter 15 says, the Most High covenant with Abraham. He says, in verse 18 of verse chapter 15, in the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, and from the river of Egypt unto the great river. That's I just showed you the area. That's Northeast Africa and Goshen, all that area. He gave to Abraham. That's where all the giants said. 19. He says, and he gave him from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Then he gave him 19, the Canaanites, the Kizrites, all these giants was given to Abraham. So you say, what are you talking about? Let's go over here to 2 Samuel right quick. On chapter 23, verse 8. These are mighty men. We know what a mighty man is from Genesis chapter 6. There were giants in those days, and these same became mighty men. Mighty man and giant is synonymous. So he said, these be the names of the mighty men whom David had. And he lists all of them. And in verse 39, the last one is Uriah, the Hittite. It was 37 of them. But they didn't just pop up out of a popcorn machine. they came back when Moses gave all these giants to Abraham. So now let's go in a little further and see, because like I said, it changed the whole complexity of the story. So what was the fight about? What was this big war came about all of a sudden? Okay, a war broke out between Og and Nimrod's kingdom, right? Og and his giants marched across the desert, that is, damnation toward the circumcised Nephilim. Abraham, when I showed you when Abraham made the covenant with the Most High, he circumcised some of them giants. So these Og giants, they thought that that was an abomination to them. That these giants didn't allow Abraham to circumcise them. That's what this war about. So he says, and war broke out between Og and Nimrod's kingdom, and his giants marched across the desert, that is, damnation toward the circumcised Nephilim, and the circumcised Nephilim and Nimrod marched to meet him, and the uncircumcised Rephaim released the elephants, the rhinoceros, great beasts of old, and the creeping things upon the field of battle. The circumcised Nephilim brought no beast whatsoever. See that? Circumcised because they trusted on the Most High. And so you want to know why David caught so much hell, because the Most High had brought these giants about and submitted them to him. And then he messed over Uriah. That's why he catching hell. But anyway, what I want to show you is, go back to, if you watch any of the movies back in the day about Babylon, this is why, see, this is the part that's missing in the story of Babylon. It says, The uncircumcised. That's the see that Rephaim. That's the worst of all the giants. These are the ones that had the long necks. They hate humans, especially Israelites. So it says, and this uncircumcised Rephaim released elephants, rhinoceros, great beasts. This is where Babylon get it from. You go and watch the 300. That's what Artaxerxes got with him. He got all these beasts and animals, you know, and more than likely they was breeding them and crossbreeding. Yeah, even half men, half, you know, bull and all that. They had all that kind of stuff they bring on the battlefield. So anyway, so it says, so the Rephaim fought the war and acted wisely concerning each giant, girded his weapon of war, and fought according to all about all of the earth, moon, sun, stars. See, well, this is where all the drama come in. These are all the dots being connected. So the earth, moon, sun, stars, celestial bodies, and Mot. So when you see Mot, that reminds me of Maya in Egypt. So it says 100 and more of the circumcised Nephilim. These had been no violence like unto the 100,000 giants before or since. So when he circumcised them, he said they wasn't that violent. When after Abraham got to dealing with Abraham circumcised them, the Most High put another spirit on them. And so, like I was saying before, now everything started making sense. The reason why nobody couldn't get to David. He had 37 giants around him. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna play this again because this guy here is gonna pronounce everything better than what I did, and it always do good too. Okay. Do good to hear a little something every now and then. Here we go.
Genesis 14. In the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of Goyim. These kings made war with Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar.
See what Shalom is at.
And all these joined forces in the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. 12 years they had served Chedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him came and defeated the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Sheva Kiriathaim, and the Horites in their hill country of Seir as far as El Paran on the border of the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, and defeated all the country of the Amalekites and also the Amorites, who were dwelling in Hazazon Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim.
Yeah, notice on this map what you're looking at. See where this Vale is hiding at? It's right down by the Dead Sea. That's where Essein was at. All the drama with Israel is down here, with this place at the Salt Sea. See that? Look at where Sodom and Gomorrah at. Same area. Just want to shine a light on that.
And the king of Bela, that is Zoar, went out, and they joined battle in the valley of Siddim with Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goyim, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elasar, 4 kings against 5. Now the valley of Siddim was full of bitumen pits, and as the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into them, and the rest fled to the hill country. So the enemy took all the possessions of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their provisions and went their way. They also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, who was dwelling in Sodom, and his possessions, and went their way. Then one who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, who was living by the oaks of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and of Aner. These were allies of Abram. When Abram heard that his kinsman had been taken captive, he led forth his trained men, born in his house, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. And he divided his forces against them by night, he and his servants, and defeated them and pursued them to Hobah, north of Damascus. Then he brought back all the possessions, and also brought back his kinsman Lot with his possessions, and the women and the people. After his return from the defeat of Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Sheva, that is, the king's valley. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed him and said,
Blessed be Abram by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand.
And Abram gave him a tenth of everything. And the king of Sodom said to Abram,
Give me the persons, but take the goods for yourself.
But Abram said to the king of Sodom,
I have lifted my hand to the Lord God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, that I would not take a thread or a sandal strap or anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abram rich. I will take nothing but what the young men have eaten, and the share of the men who went with me. Let Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre take their share.
Okay, so I want to shine a light on something. So with this information being revealed right here, you begin to see. I mean, if you seriously searching out the Most High and searching out the truth, because when the truth comes, you got to deal with it. So we, from this understanding right here, we come in on the ass end of the story. And we just getting the back end of the story. We ain't getting the beginning of all the story of what was going on in this land before that. And you have to know that in order to deal with the scriptures. So what Esau gave us, the back end of the story. So let's look at, let me show you what I'm talking about. Give you another example. Go to Genesis 18, you know, one of my favorite stories. So I'm over here with Abraham. It says, we see right here, when the picture's still up there, you see the circle with the yellow circle with the people. That's Abraham dealing with the Sodom and Gomorrah, the kings. But you know, they don't ever register. He already know them before you get to Genesis 18. So now you get to verse 22. It said Abraham intercedes for Sodom. Why? He know them. He already dealt with them right here. He been dealing with them right here. But we don't know that. Now look what he said. Look at it. Now the story is a whole nother light being shined on the story. He says, and the men turned their faces from thence and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood before the Lord. And Abraham drew nigh and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Pre-adventure that there be 50 righteous within the city. See, he's concerned about it because he know these men. So he's in a position like Moses at Mount Sinai. He know these men right here. And then not only that, he knows Shem. And then Esau gave us some bullcrap story about he had no beginning and no end, all this garbage. When it's Shem, right here on the map, under the circle, it says Salom. That's Melchizedek, that's where Shem was at. That's where Abraham went when at 10 years old and lived with them. Come on, so we got up until this point, we got the, we got the back end of the story. Come on. So anyway, with that being said, we'll go back over here. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna read this right quick. about about Og. This I don't know if you know the story, but it's been said that Og came through the flood. Og he lived a long time, I think 400-500 years. So it says, chapter 6, it says, as told by Onazal, the slayer of the small shells before Baal of the moon, it came to pass that the kingdom and the army of Og fasted before they marched to Bashan. On the 5th day of the fasting of the whole of Og's encampment was covered in smoke, and fire came down, and fire struck the sacrifices in the high places, because Baal, sun, and Baal of the earth were there. The ground of the temple and the paths leading to it became charged with on the 5th day with the presence of Baal on the earth and Baal of the sun. Many Raphim attempted to climb the hills at the time of Og's prophecy and were struck dead with fire when they touched the ground. So who you think that is doing all this, killing these giants? They nicknamed me, but that's the Lord of hosts that showed up. He destroying these giants. He said on that day in the temple. It's way before we get to dealing with what's going on in Egypt and all that. Mm-hmm. Said Og received the prophecy. On that day, Og's eyes whitened, and he fell into a Salem and a Salom a trance. We just saw Balaam do that. I read Balaam did that the other day. It says it's a trance. King Og of the temple became Baal of the earth. On that day, Og's voice became as that of iron, so that all that were near were struck by it. So what he doing? Speaking in tongues. Okay, King of Rephaim, survivor of the great waters. See that? There you go, right here. King Og, King of the Rephaim. I told you who these Rephaim are. They hate Israelites. They hate humans in general. They were vicious. They had long necks that's tied to Tut and Akhenaten. And I showed you today all these white women running around there with these long ass necks. So anyway, he says, King Og of the Rephaim, survivor of the great waters, killer of Nimrod, and born, look at this, and born of the priesthood of Baal of the moon. The words of Baal. Og spoke the prophecy. And see, you would never thought Og was a priest. It says Og spoke the prophecy before the march to Bashan, the prophecy of the rules, the wrath of Baal, and the curses upon the bearers, and Bashan do they not follow as spoken by Og and translate. Okay, so we see where all this stuff came from. It came from these giants, but they don't want you to know all that because they trying to make you think these giants ain't even existed. But all the stuff that's going on that's done now, all the stuff they got stacked up in the Vatican came from these giants. That whole system that's over in the Vatican came from these giants, which they got it from their fathers. Up on top of these mountains. That's where these high places was. That was Israel's problem. He couldn't keep them out of them high places. And so when you say king, you have to understand, talk about a giant. That's what they came in contact with when they came across the desert out of Egypt. That's why when they got to Israel, they wanted Saul. They wanted a tall man like these giants. All these giants they seen came out with all this jewelry and all this stuff on and these crowns they had made. Yeah. So with that being said, anybody got any comments?
Yeah, I got a question.
What you got?
What book you said you were reading from?
What book?
Yeah.
Oh, the Lost Book of King Og. And then I got another the books of Og, Enoch, and the Giants.
Oh, it's two different books?
Yeah, it's two different books. Let me show them to you.
All right.
There you go. It's the same guy we got the book of Lamech from, you know what I'm saying? And here go the other one. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, I mean, you know, I hope this shine a light on some things for some people. But anybody got any questions or comments or about what we just dealt with? Excuse me. Anybody got any comments or questions?
Shalom, shalom.
Okay.
Wasn't King Og the king that Saul did not destroy? Wasn't
Saul? No, that
um
was Agag. Agag.
Agag. Okay. All right. And then Saul was Saul a giant?
Yeah, it says that he was descended from them. But like
Okay.
I said before, when the Most High removed the fallen angels and had them bound in different parts of the earth and in mountains and stuff, he took away the source of their height. So they started getting smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
But all you have to do is look for the characteristics, and you see it. Like I said, one of them is these long ass necks.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But who know that? So they ain't paying no attention. It's right in their face, but they ain't paying no attention to it.
Okay. And is the understanding that you know how they say David was a mighty warrior and David won so many battles? Um, was he mighty because he had giants as okay? When it says David's mighty men,
Right.
are we talking giants or
Yeah,
just
yeah, they giants. He talking about giants. Let me give you an example. You tell me if he's a giant or not. Then not only was he a giant, he was mixed with something else. So he had some let me read second seven. It says, Second Samuel 23:8. These are the names of the mighty men who David had. I ain't saying the name right. Tachamonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was I didn't know the Ezonite. Look at this. He lifted up his spear against 800 whom he slew at one time. Can a regular man do that?
no?
And after him was Eleazar, the son of Doodoo, whatever is it. He was one of one of the three mighty men with David. When they defiled the Philistines, I always know these Philistines, they were vicious too. They're cut off of the raven. So the
Mm-hmm.
Philistines were not nice. So he said, and after him was Eleazar, the son of Duda, the Ahihite, whatever it is, one of the three mighty men with David when they defied the Philistines that were gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hands were weary, and his hands clave unto the sword. And the Lord wrought great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to the spoils. See that? And so what I wanted to show you was one of these dudes to tell you he lying like here you go right here. 19 says, and Benaiah the son of Jehonadab, the son of a valiant man of Kisbo, who had done many acts and slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. And he went down also and slew a lion in the midst of a pit in the time. So you think it's a regular man?
No way.
Okay, so but you know they reading over that when it's right there in their face.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know exactly where it's found at, but there was a story about David wanting some water from a
Right,
certain
that's
lake.
That's them.
Okay. Because I
Right.
was thinking to myself, dang, them men in David's army, they bad, but I didn't know they were giants.
Yeah, they giant, mighty men. And like I said, then some of them was and then that's why David caught so much hell from the Most High, because he had put a spirit on these giants he had circumcised. First of all, it's unbelievable that they allowed him to circumcise. That's what all and all them are mad about. Because how you going to,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? So that's what brought the war about with the giants. It was the uncircumcised against the circumcised. And so anyway, Most High put a spirit on them where they submitted to David. But
Mm.
David used that. And that's why the Most High, that's why he caused so much hell.
And Leonard, you were alluding to the story of Uriah. So what I gathered from that is one of the reasons why the Most High, you know, punished David, or David had consequences for the way he dealt with Uriah, because he didn't have no reason to put Uriah on the front line other than for,
He wanted
you
Bathsheba.
know, exactly.
Right. And then that was his Uriah was one of his main men. He's
Yeah.
one of the mighty men. And so he the one wrought a lot of the victories for David.
Yes.
And then David did him like that. Yeah.
Right. So David, so now I understand a little bit better, you know, why David was such a bad commander. I mean, such an awesome commander. He
Right.
had them giants.
Right. Yeah. And then Most High he had a spirit on him too that people they submitted to him. They just went
Right.
head over heels. They submitted to him, and that was a miracle in itself. That those, it was enough that they, when you understand what they are, you get 2, 3 of them together, they're gonna tatter. It's like getting a whole bunch of rednecks in a bar. They're
Hmm.
gonna pull us up for the night over with. They're gonna tear that bar up.
You know they're gonna fight.
Yeah. So, but he had to put a spirit on them. They was totally submitted to David.
Wow.
Back to the story you talking about the water. David wanted some water from the well,
Yeah.
and he said he longed for it, and they went through there and wiped out everybody and got that water.
Exactly.
David. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But like I say, you read over there. So what you come to find out, you ain't got the whole story.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean? So you can't be trying to say this and say that. You got to get the whole story first and understand and like I said before, when you go back to what these giants, what these fallen angels impose on the world and impose on humans. When you got to go back
Hmm.
and find where they impose on us, and then when you see what they impose on us, you can't act like you can't continue to keep doing that once you know how it came about.
Right.
They just made it good now, like just like Halloween. Shit, Halloween back in the day, they was going and getting little kids. Shit,
Hmm.
and killing them,
Hmm.
putting them in bags. Come on,
Right.
now they just dealing with candy. They didn't smooth it down. But
Yeah.
the origins of it is wicked as hell. Christmas,
Right.
all that.
Yeah.
So
And
you see that.
there was one other thing. Um, yeah, so I got a better clarity on why Abraham was speaking up for Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
You know, early on that story, said, okay, if Sodom and Gomorrah is wicked, why is Abraham, conversating with the Lord of
Right.
hosts, saying, if we find 10, if we find 5, if we find
Exactly.
1. Yeah,
Right.
so it brings clarity to that story.
Right. And then with the like I said before, once you get a grasp of what's going on, the 5 kings they're talking about that came up against the other guy they met Shem. And
Hmm.
they got us over here thinking Melchizedek, somebody that came out the sky, that Jesus Melchizedek. And
Right.
and the story
Right.
tells you, like, yeah, these men met him and they talked to him. It was Shem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. Well,
Yeah.
like I say, when this stuff started coming out, you can't fumble with it. You gotta do something with it. It ain't nothing to get uptight about. You just gotta make the adjustments when the truth starts.
Well, exactly. And what it does for me, I thought I knew something.
Right. Oh yeah.
Uh, so just gotta, keep listening and keep
Right.
wanting to learn more.
Right. And that's the thing I was saying about You know, it's a spirit that is, you know, on the Israelite. If you pay attention, like David, Abraham, all of me had the same countenance, and then especially David, you know, he might mess up, but as soon as he found you, Most High sent somebody and let him know he had a problem with when the guy killed Saul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even though Saul was trying to kill him, he wouldn't kill Saul. He was getting away from Saul.
That's right.
That's one thing he respected the Most High. But when he messed up, he got down on the ground.
Yeah.
Put his face in the dirt.
That's right.
Saul wouldn't do that. That's how you know he wasn't. And so Abraham, all of them, they got Moses.
Mm-hmm.
They had no problem getting down in the dirt because you know it wasn't about it. Ain't got nothing to do with them.
Right.
Yeah, there's an order that's in place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anybody got anything else? I ain't want to go too far tonight because I kind of went over this morning. So anybody else got anything? Nobody got nothing. So I was gonna tell Shahila, Miss Maryland, to be careful when you get over there to Ghana.
Yeah.
Thank
Don't
you.
don't get caught in no net.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah. Blessings.
Okay.
Yes, have a safe trip.
Yeah.
I appreciate it all. Thank you.
Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see y'all Monday at 6 o'clock.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, family.
Shalom.